First of all, I want to thank you all for being present today. I'm going to present you my master thesis research about Robo-Advisors, namely the case of Portugal. So I'm starting with an agenda. First, I will talk about the introduction, literature review, research gap, methodology, results, and conclusion. So starting by the introduction, the relevance of technologies emerge from the endless benefits that it provides in many business sectors, and in fact, the financial sector is not an exception. And the topic of fintech arose, being the basis of a lot of innovations. Of course, one of these innovations are the robo-advisors, a tool that advises investors about the optimal way for portfolio allocation based on a lot of characteristics of the investor, such as aversion to risk, personal income, profile investor, and many others. To perform a study, I started to do a research framework. I have 4 main steps here. So I start with the selection of a database, then the collection of data, then data analysis, and finally the discussion of topics and content analysis. To have all of these topics, I've got 600 results. I used the Prisma flow diagram to filter them all, so I deleted some results that the topic would not bring me so much value, so I got with 100 results. So 3 topics were addressed by the authors. The first one, the relationship between the robo-advisors and the investors. Some authors say, sorry, some authors say that the robo-advisor could be a very good allies as a complement to professionals. So if a person has a doubt, going to a professional would be much better for them. Also, marketing strategies would be very nice to have, just to show this tool to another people. And regarding the algorithm, of course, this algorithm has behind a lot of models. So it has a lot of potential to grow and to have, so it can be very different characteristics and have a lot of space to grow. And finally, the type of investor in specific geographies. Some authors study some different people and some type of investors in different countries. So it clearly says that an investor can have different characteristics based on their location, based on the culture. Maybe some people are more averse to risk than others. So the location and cultures could be a very important topic. So from here, I got 3 main research gaps. The first one, investigation of different socioeconomic characteristics in Portugal. So since the Portuguese people are the easiest for me to make a research, I started to do and conduct a research on Portugal. But of course, my research can be adapted to other countries, and we will see it next. The second one is how to improve and adapt algorithms, because I know that this algorithm is in developing, so it's not like a final, so it has a lot of space to grow as well. And the third one is like the connection between these algorithms and the robo-advisors with socioeconomic aspects. So this third one, it's very interesting and is what I'm focusing more. So to respond to these research questions, I use the method of case study. So this method is widely used to collect knowledge of individuals and groups related to a specific topic. So I thought it would be the best approach in this case. My source of data are questionnaires, articles, and online data. Regarding the questionnaires, my target population are people with advanced education, financial stability, and young people. So I defined these criteria is based on the question of which kind of people could be more interesting to invest or is already investing. So would be the best in this case. My questionnaire has 20 questions. I use the Qualtrics. And then I'm doing the exploratory data analysis with an Excel. And finally, the clustering model that we are going to discuss about later with Jupyter Notebook with Python language. Starting with my results, I made like an overview in Portugal of the Robo-Advisors. So I have here just 5, but there is a lot more. Mostly of them trade ETFs and others trade cryptocurrencies. The annual commissions are between 0% and 1.8. And the minimal amount, it's in average 100 euros. So regarding my questionnaires results, I included 4 questions about demographic characterization. So just to check what type of people we have in my sample. So I got 97 responses, and all of my respondents are young people. 90% of the respondents has a master's degree. And half of the respondents have one person in the family household. And by the comparative analysis between the monthly income and the monthly cost living, we get to know that these respondents has a financial stability, which means that they have money to invest by the end of the month. Then with the quantitative variables, I made a Spearman correlation. So I just trying to understand which kind of correlation can I get from these responses. And actually, I got some conclusions that are very similar to other conclusions that authors has been saying in my literature review. Like if a person knows a lot about investments and know the financial concepts, then it also knows robo-advisors or are interesting to invest. Also, on the other hand, if a person does not have too much knowledge in finance, then it's more averse to the risk and, of course, more averse to this kind of tools. Regarding the exploratory data analysis, of course, I made other questions, but I'm presenting here just the most relevant. So with these 2 questions, 3 in this case, it clearly shows that there are individuals that actually know about this type of tools, but don't know the robo-advisors itself, or at least by the name of robo-advisors. And also 94%, 97% of the respondents have never acquired robo-advisors. Taking in consideration the type of sample we have, it shows that this tool is not so acknowledged by most of the people. Regarding the clustering model, just to refer that I made this clustering model just to be more easy to segment my respondents into different groups according to their characteristics, and to for each segment to create or adapt or which type of politics we could use in robo-advisors to be adapted to this kind of segments of people. Before I'm presenting the results, I would just like to say and present you some steps that I take before. The first one, the data understanding. The second, the feature engineering to group data and to have a better performance on my model. The third one, encoding to avoid redundancy issues in my model and to get better results. And finally, normalizations. Here I use the min-max scaler and the UMAP to reduce just to have more results more clear. So, and my results, I got 4 clusters identified. I use the DB-scan clustering because it's more effective to detect clusters with different shapes and size, and also it's more robust to outliers. I know that my data set has some outliers. I deleted some of them, but also others I choose not to delete because it's based on opinions. And also I got to test other methods, of course, other models, such as k-means and hierarchical clustering. DBScan, of course, gave me more results, and it was expected to do it. So I got 4 profiles of investors. So I got 4 clusters. The first cluster, so the cluster 0, are persons with high aversion to risk, low level of experience, less income available to invest. So these kind of people maybe create marketing strategies and positioning strategies to present this tool to this kind of people would not be the best approach. Maybe show this tool as a complement to invest, and a complement to with professionals would be better, and maybe the conditions to access robo-advisors would be better in Portugal for this kind of people. A robo-advisor with a minimal amount to start to invest of 5,000 would be not the best for this kind of profile. Cluster 1 and 2 are very similar. The only thing that differs here are the monthly income available. But here the marketing strategies and the positioning of this robo-advisor could be very interesting, because this kind of people are less risk aversion and has a lot of monthly income to invest in. Would be very interesting to catch these kind of people. The cluster 3 are people with high averse to risk, but has high level of education, knowledge of finance. Here, what I can say is that these kind of people don't know about this tool, and of course marketing strategies could be very good in here, or maybe create an algorithm or something of robo-advisors that could trade maybe other assets, financial assets. Okay, as a conclusion, as I say, robo-advisors are not known by the general population. I know that my sample was very small, but it could give us a good overview. So marketing and positioning strategies would be very good to have. Also, the questionnaire that I made was to check about background, and was not made for the clustering. But the clustering model could be very useful for fintech entities. If I was a fintech entity and I was coming to Portugal, I would like to know which kind of investors I have in my country, and having this kind of tool would be very interesting to do. And also, what I've got is that there is some lack of transparency about these tools. We don't know much about how the algorithms are working nowadays. So it was something that could be very better to improve as well. So this research is a contribute for global evolution and of fintech companies and entities. Of course, there is some future works that I identified based on my limitations, of course. So maybe as a future work, it would be interesting to develop surveys and interviews with people in the field. In this case, to have like a different perspective of this tool. Also, more in-depth studies of the algorithm, just going more deep into technical aspects, maybe trying to research more to the research gap too. And also improve the clustering model developed in the study, maybe create an app or maybe a framework tool so this clustering model could be used by other entities and on other countries, other studies, would be very interesting. And now I just have this part of Q&A. I don't know if anyone have any question. If not, maybe I will proceed it. And finally, thank you all again for being here today.